Friday the 1st of December and the official start of preparation for the spring marathons. So the only marathon that I've actually booked so far is Stirling, which is the last Sunday of April. So that gives me December, January, February, March, April, 5 months to get ready for it. The last meaningful kind of posts that I did were the Stirling Marathon of 2017, so we're now going into 2018, and that wasn't a good experience, but I've learned a lot since then about the mental approach to marathons, and being able to understand why I had all these feelings that I did have. And now that I'm aware of them, then I'm much more capable of dealing with them in future. So I decided to keep going with marathons. The only longish run that we've done since Stirling back in the spring was the Great North Run, and that went much better than expected. I had a place booked for the Amsterdam Marathon, but as you probably know, I didn't think I'd done enough work for that, so I pulled the plug on it and lost my money, of course, but that wasn't the important thing. The important thing is that I recognised that I wasn't going to be able to do a good job on it, and better to pull out than come home quite annoyed. So here we are, as I say, 1st of December, start of 5 months of preparation. Why 5 months? Because normal marathon programmes are kind of 16 weeks, which is just on 4 months. The answer to that goes back to the video I did when I reflected on Stirling 2017, and I'd come to the conclusion that marathon training plans don't actually prepare you for running a marathon in any given time. All they're there to do is sorry about that small aeroplane going overhead. All they're there to do is to get you over the finish line. So 4.5 hours I did Amsterdam in 2016, and for just getting over the finish line, that I think was pretty darn good, and it shows that there is a capability to get my time down to under 4 hours. However, to do that, I think you need to get your body acclimatised to running the marathon distance, and the programmes take you up to 20 roughly miles, maybe 22 miles, but that's good enough to get you over the finish line. But you speak to any experienced marathon runner and they'll tell you that a marathon begins at 20 miles, and it certainly is my experience. Certainly in Stirling, up to 20 miles was reasonably okay. That last 6 miles was where really it all fell apart. So my conclusion was that rather than following a plan for the 16 weeks leading up to the marathon, what you need to do is start earlier than that and get your body used to running the 26 miles, so that instead of it being a one-off and your body is saying, whoa, what's going on here, we haven't done this before, you've given your body time to go through the physical adaptation, and you've given yourself time to go through the mental adaptation and to try out maybe different types of nutrition, different clothing, even different shoes, all sorts of different variables, any one of which can really screw up your run. So I hadn't done really any running over the summer due to family commitments. Great North Run half marathon went reasonably well. That was in September. I had an easy month in October, but from the start of November I took the fact that I could do the half marathon as read, and basically November has been consolidating that. So I've been out running 5-6 days a week, and instead of doing kind of 5Ks to 5 miles, I've been doing and just kind of jogging along with colleagues in the club and stopping for a wee, we call them regroups, to let the faster ones wait for the mid-packers like myself and for for mid-packers to wait for the slower runners to catch up. So you're not getting, kind of 5 miles non-stop. So I've been doing a lot of 10Ks, and instead of just doing trails, which is my normal, I'm going into the local town once a week in the evening and doing a 10K on the pavements there, which has been really interesting. So that's given me a bit of exposure again to running on the flat rather than on hills like you see behind me here. We've been trying to think about ways to improve speed as well. Getting to the end of the marathon wasn't really a problem. It was, there was never any doubt that I would get to the end of the marathon. The problem was the time that it was taking me to get there, and I was having to walk probably less of the last 5 miles than I think, but I was certainly doing a bit of walking in the last 5 miles. So I'm not content just to run the whole distance, although that is a goal because I've never run from start to finish before. So that's a primary goal, but it's kind of way down there in the level of challenge. What we've found over the last 2 or 3 years doing the longer distances is that it really killed. I used to be quite good on hills, and now I'm no good on hills. I used to be, kind of a third of the way down my group. Now I'm 2/3 of the way down my group in terms of speed. So I've lost the ability to run hills, I've lost the ability to maintain a decent pace. My park run time, for example, went from 23 minutes down to 27, 28 minutes, which is a big difference. So what we're trying to aim for is, the marathon is the end of April, so given that we're starting kind of roughly, I've done 2 10-mile runs in the last couple of weekends over rough terrain. Given that we're starting from that point, we're really coming into what would be a conventional marathon training program somewhere about week 8, week 9. So I've only got 7 weeks that I really need to work to get up to the marathon distance. So that suggests that in the middle of January I could be essentially ready to run a marathon. But that's not what I want. I would rather take it a bit slower, build the base. Maybe by the end of February, which gives me an extra 2 months, I want to be able certainly to run a marathon at the end of February, and then during March and April, or certainly the first half of April, because I don't want to be totally fatigued at the actual race. So for that kind of 6 or 8 weeks, maybe late February to the middle of April, I want to be running marathons maybe once a fortnight, something like that, and half marathons in the intervening weeks. Now, I know that a lot of people would be saying, you're asking for trouble there, you're going to get too tired, you're going to suffer injuries and all these things, and yes, that's a definite possibility, but from all the research, to improve your times, to improve your performance, it's a case of time on your feet, getting the miles in. So that's the approach that I'm basically taking. I'm going to put in the miles, I'm going to get up to doing a marathon distance, then I'm going to let my body acclimatise and condition itself and adapt to the challenge of running a marathon by doing one every couple of weeks over a 6 or 8 week period, so that we then have a 2-week taper from the middle of April to the actual race, and then I'm not going to lose too much fitness in that. We'll keep going at a tick over, and then when we hit the start line in Stirling, we're ready to go. So that's been a long discourse of what the plan is going to be for the next few months. I was going to talk about what I'm doing today, but we'll just stop there just now, and we'll leave today's workout for a separate video. So 5 months, can we get to a 4 hour? Maybe we can, but that's not really what's in my head. Last year my target was 4 hours 15. I actually came in at 4:50 something, which I wasn't proud of. So I think probably in my mind I would rather stick with the 4 hours 15, given that it would be a year since I actually competed in a marathon. We're going back to Amsterdam again next year, and so effectively what we're doing is taking the 2017 schedule, 4:15 for Stirling and 4 hours at Amsterdam, and we're sliding that over into 2018. So I think we're going to go for 4:15 Stirling 2018 and try and break the 4 hour mark for Amsterdam 2018, which is kind of 10 months from now. So yeah, I think we can do that. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope there's something of interest there, and I hope you'll stick with me for the next 4 or 5 months and see if this ambitious plan works. Okay, bye for now.
If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to make sure you get notifications of all new content.